It took them way longer than they said it would, but the Overwatch League has finally released the schedule news that we've been looking forward to for the last couple of weeks. In an online article posted earlier today, aka June 8th, a bunch of information was revealed about how the rest of the regular season is going to play out. First of all, the schedule for the entire month of June was released. It was also announced that action would be returning this Saturday, aka June 13th, but if you want to check out the entire schedule, make sure to check out the Overwatch League app or go on the website. I'll make sure to leave a link to it in the description as well if you'd rather do that. A bit of exciting news that comes along with the month of June is the Summer Showdown, which, if you haven't guessed already, will be another regular season tournament that will be just like the May Melee one, basically. Here's how the Summer Showdown is going to work. Over the last 3 weeks of June, all 20 teams will play qualifier matches. You're going to have 3 per team in North America and 4 per team in Asia. Team records, map scores, and tiebreakers in those qualifier matches will determine team seeding in 2 regional tournaments in North America, which will happen July 3rd through 5th, in Asia, which is July 4th through 5th. In terms of the format for this tournament, it'll basically be the same as the May Melee, so every team that you saw play in North America will still be in North America, and all the teams in Asia will remain the same as well. Then the prize money system will work the same, and of course, the rules for the matches will also play out in a similar way, so there's no hero pools in this, and it's going to be the first to 3 map wins up until the grand finals. All of that stuff will remain the same. And if you're wondering, that bonus win system will still be going into effect, so if you finish in the top 4 of your respective tournament, then you'll be getting at least 1 bonus win depending on how well you do. Other than that, only the qualifying matches will count towards a team's regular season record. The weird thing about this tournament in particular, at least on the North American side of things, is that the qualifying match, like, you know, the one we had with Vancouver versus Toronto and everything, it's going to be played on a different day than the knockout round. So the qualifying match will take place on Sunday, June 28th, apparently. Then the knockouts will take place on Friday, July 3rd. But guess what? It doesn't end there, friends. Apparently, after the Summer Showdown in July, there's going to be another tournament in August with a very similar format with qualifier matches and bracket play in both regions. And then apparently they're also going to be spending a few weeks balancing the total number of regular season matches, excluding the ones in tournament weekends, so that all teams will play a total of 21 games. That's very interesting. It makes a lot of sense considering the situation we're in and how many weeks we've missed from the coronavirus and giving the players a break from tournaments and stuff, but it's kind of sad. We're losing out on like 7 games there. So there you go. All of your teams out there that you support have a chance to earn bonus wins 2 more times, and they'll get the prize money and everything, so that's really awesome. That first tournament in May was amazing. It was very successful, and I don't even think it's going to be that much more stressful on the players like I expected it to be. When they first said that they plan to bring more tournaments back, I was a little worried it would stress out the players a ton, because it's clear that it's very exhausting to go through that process, but now that they're decreasing the amount of regular season games, I'm not as worried. Speaking of stress, there's also an update for the hero pools going into effect. So hero pools are now going to last 2 weeks in the Overwatch League before rotating, and after each 2-week period, the next 2 weeks, including tournament matches, are going to be played with no hero pools in effect. So for all you hero pool haters out there, that's 1 less week than you usually would have to deal with that great evil. Now you only have to deal with hero pools for 2 qualifying weeks, then the last qualifying week there are none to worry about at all, and that will continue into the tournament. It would seem that the same format will be used for the 3rd regular season tournament too. Then afterwards, during the final 2 weeks of the regular season, we will operate under a single hero pool to wrap it up. After that, we're home free from hero pools because they will not be going into effect for the end of season playoffs. While I'm starting to think that hero pools probably aren't worth having in the Overwatch League, I am really happy that they finally increased it to 2-week periods instead of 1. Honestly, this is what they should have done from the beginning if they wanted to test this feature out. A big problem that a bunch of people foresaw, including myself, was that this process of hero pools was going to be very stressful on the coaches and the players, and many of them have made it known that it has been a problem and that it is very exhausting and that sometimes they don't figure out a meta till like a day before their match. Now, don't get me wrong. Having the meta change every once in a while is good. I think it keeps the game very refreshing because no one wants to have the same meta last for months and months at a time, like we've already seen with Dive and Goats for a few examples. However, having the meta change this quickly is not the right way to approach it. The stress factor is bad enough on its own because of this, but also, how the heck are you supposed to look organized and keep things from being super chaotic when you only get a couple of days really to practice a specific meta depending on how quickly your team figures out what works the best? Overwatch esports hits its peak entertainment value when you get to watch people master stuff. When they look like they've truly mastered a certain composition, that's when the game looks so much fun. Like, remember San Francisco Shock versus Vancouver Titans Stage 1 and Stage 2 finals? That's peak Overwatch right there, because they both know what they're doing. They've shown clear mastery of how to play GOATs. It's wonderful. It's an amazing thing. But when you take that amount of practice time away, it all really just comes down to who has the better understanding of the meta. It's like a rock, paper, scissors type of game, if you will. And while that chaos factor can be fun to watch at times, it can also be a little frustrating too. A 2-week hero ban system might be able to help out with that a little bit, but how much it will is yet to be determined. Looking how hero pools play out for the rest of the regular season is going to be a very interesting process. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering what the first hero pools are looking like for weeks 19 and 20, it consists of Echo, Sombra, Diva, and Brigitte. Anyway though, the final thing that we need to talk about in this video is trades and free agent signings. So, according to the league, in order to give some additional roster flexibility, both the trade and free agent signing deadlines have been extended from June 15th to July 31st. I mean, wow, that's a noticeable difference. That's more than a month's worth of time to help teams bolster their roster potentially. But with the current world issues we're dealing with, it makes a lot of sense. I can completely understand why the league would look to do something like this, and hey, you're not going to hear me complain. That means there's more potential for blockbuster trades and signings to happen from now until July 31st. It'll be interesting to see if any teams can capitalize on this window increasing. Well, that's pretty much going to do it. That's all of the news I have for you. Make sure to let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this content and you'd like to see more Overwatch League news from me in the future, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.